Uh, Good morning, everyone. On this occasions, I would like to give my view to the webinar that I attended last day, that hosted by IST, organized by the IEUPS International. Introducing, I'm Imade Sandika from SMA 1 Kintamani. I'm an English teacher. Well, I have attended the online webinars about virtual learning environments for effective educations, which hosted by IST and organized by TIE UPS International. First of all, let me say thank you for Mr. Rafi, who was be the host on the workshop, and for all facilitators that have facilitated us with new informations and knowledge related to the learning process. They are Mr. Dr. S. Albert Anthony, Mr. Dr. S. Kishore, and Professors K. Soleimani. The workshop was conducted along 3 days sessions. During the 3 days webinar, I got actually so many things, materials or subject related to the conducting a learning process as a teachers. Well, it was truly that it was interesting topics given by Mr. Albert Antoni, who presented the topic at the first day of webinar. He talked about using the Google Sites as one of platforms can be used for teaching learning process by the teacher. We learned from the webinars all about the items provided by Google's uh, from introductions to giving scores or grading. Mr. Albert started explaining Google Classroom introductions on creations, joining or inviting students, streams, announcements, study materials, classworks for the assignments, quizzes, and questions, managing peoples and the laws. He explains about grading. Frankly, he helped me how to use the G sites for applying learning process during this pandemics of COVID-19. I myself actually, I have already applied the Google Classrooms, but just for giving or posting materials and giving assignments. I never use the Google Classroom for grading, managing peoples, and quizzes because previously I thought that those three items didn't have any value for my teachings. But after I got explanations from Mr. Albert Anthony, I think that they are really important to apply for teachings, learning process. Then I tried to apply it, to apply those items to my class. Unfortunately, it was useful items. I could evaluate my students easily by using quizzes and gradings, and also I could use Google Classroom to have collaboration teaching with my teacher mates as partners to do by optimizing the item managing peoples. Again, so I really enthusiastic and happy using this platform G sites after these webinars. And thank you for Mr. Albert and Johnny for your explanations. From the webinars, I also finally knew if there is a relationship between human psychology and technology developments. In case the recent situations when we all facing the pandemic COVID-19, it is close related to the learning process that involve students and the teachers, where technology will influence human psychology, especially for to feelings, behavior, and also our thought. Means that we need adaptations to the conditions. These materials we are delivered from Mr. Dr. Kishore on the second day of webinar. Uh, he explains all about psychology and technology by using samples of picture. It should be effective way to describe. Well, he explains all about psychology and technology by using sample of pictures. It should be effective way to describe the materials. He explained about what is psychology, what is a psychodynamic, psychometrics. They are different. Frankly, I myself couldn't understand yet the relationships those kind of subjects since I lack of vocabulary, especially related to them. But from the pictures shown on the presentations, I'm rather familiar with the subjects. Thank you, Mr. Kishore, for your kindness facilitated with the materials. The last day of the webinar, we got materials from about assessments for teaching learning process via online. We deliver it from Professor K. Selemani. She explained everything's all about assessments. She explains what are assessments for or what are evaluation for in details. She taught us how we evaluate or make new assessments in procedure way. From planning assessment that includes identify the purpose of assessments, define the domains, starts with the instructional objectives, decides what to assess. From the explanations, I got new informations of what contents should be covered for assessments, which skills should be required, decides how to assess, what type of items or tasks should be used. Those theoretical terms is useful for me in order to give an evaluations or assessments for my students actually. If we follow the steps, it's very easy, and I got a valid assessments. Besides the way we gave an evaluations, Professor Soleimani also provided us informations about online platform that can be used to make easy and interesting evaluations like quizzes, questions paper form, answering types in the forms, different forms. But from all platform assessments, she also recommended us to use tables, Microsoft Forms, Classmates, Typeform, Google Forms. They all, I think, useful for having valid and eligible evaluations. That's why I really interested following the webinars. And thank you, Professor Soleimani, for your explanations. The last ones, thank you for the TIU, the TIE UPS Internationals for holding this interesting webinars workshop. I hope this kind of workshops would be conducted back in the futures. That's why I thank you for yours. What is that? For yours chance to give us on following the webinars. The last I say thank you for you for you all. Bye.